it just didn't look human to me, because just this like really long conical shape coming out, and then that seemed to happen a while, and then suddenly I was looking down, and suddenly this like when it came like this here, and there's like these eyes started blinking at me, and then it was just like, wow, that's just incredible. As soon as I saw the eyes blinking at me and these eyes looking at me, that was just absolutely amazing. And then it just like came down a bit more, and this all happened very, very slowly, like over a few, like I don't know, a few minutes at least or more. It's hard to say. Time just kind of went away, and then like the nose came, then the breath started to go, and then the mouth started spinning a bit, and then it's just like, wow, this is just incredible. And then it kind of came down here, then it stopped, and then there's no more movement for a while, and then something said to me, just like voice said to me, check the neck for the cord. And so I kind of put my fingers in and checked the neck and thought, no, I can't feel the umbilical cord there. And then I was just like taking my hand away, and then so I said, no, check again, check deeper. So I checked again, and I put my finger really in, and his cord was actually tight, like at least 3 times around the neck, like really, really tight. And so I actually had to take the cord then and unwind it like over his head like a few times, and it was so tight, it was incredible. And as soon as the cord came off, then pop came out the shoulder, and then he just kind of came out, and it was just like slippery as an eel. It was just trying to hold him. He's so slippery. You were. And then I just kind of passed him through Tori's legs to her, and she took Indigo then in her arms, and that wasn't it, but
that was the first part of it. So that having him, it was just so amazing. It's like seeing your baby for the first time, and I'm just looking at him, and I looked at him, and for a split second it was like I could talk to him without actually saying anything. It was like I could see a star from me to him, and I was talking to him, and he understood me perfectly, and it was so beautiful. Yeah, it was. And so then we went into the bedroom, and I tried to feed him, and I couldn't. And he didn't seem to naturally suckle like a lot of babies. I know my sister's baby came out, and immediately she was really went straight for the breast, but Indigo really didn't. And so I went from being really prudish, not wanting to take my clothes off, to having Matthew, Lizzie, and my sister and my mum all trying to squeeze my nipples, trying to help Indigo to feed. Yeah. So he didn't feed, and well, what we did was I called my mum and said, do you want, Matthew called my mum and said, do you want to come and see your grandson? So we called her into the room, and so she came to meet Indigo, but I still hadn't birthed the placenta at this stage, and I was just trying to get him to feed, because I believed if I could get him to feed, that it would help me to have more contractions, and then I'd be able to birth the placenta. So I squatted, and I did all kinds of different exercises, and nothing would birth the placenta, and at the same time it was really difficult because Indigo still wasn't feeding, and I was kind of worrying, and my mum was there, and because the cord was really short, so my mum, maybe I shouldn't have called my mum into the room. Maybe that was, look, in hindsight I would have stayed in the birthing room and until I'd done the full thing. But what happened at the time was
well, the birth's not really over until the placenta is birthed, and we kind of got caught up in everything and kind of forgot about that a little bit.
We were just so excited that Indigo had appeared, and I wanted to show my mom, and in that excitement maybe we kind of lost the energy of giving birth. And so definitely if I was giving birth, one thing I would most certainly do is not contact anybody or even have anybody else into the room until you'd birthed the placenta. So, but my mum was really worried because the placenta was so short, and I was holding Indigo the whole time.
The cord was so short.
What did I say?
The placenta.
Okay, sorry, the cord was so short, and so she kept saying, "Oh, Victoria, just cut the cord, just cut the cord." But I was holding out. No, we're going to do this lotus birth. So we waited. Was it 12 hours?
12 hours.
We waited 12 hours, maybe just over 12 hours. And in the end, I think it was just causing my mum too much stress, and I thought, okay, we'll cut it. And the cord, you know, I thought at least he'd had 12 hours, and I was kind of happy that he'd had that.
So I tied a little bit of cord.
A little bit of rope.
Just cord.
Yeah,
a bit of cord around each side of the umbilical cord, and then just cut it. And by then, it was when a baby's first born, they cut the umbilical cord. It's still like really squidgy, but by this stage, it like all the nutrients, all the fluids and everything had gone through, and so the cord was like just like a bit of rubber by this stage, without all the fluids and everything in it. So it was completely different to the way the cord is normally cut, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to keep the cord attached, because the baby's still receiving so much nutrients, and there's what the T cells and which really boosts the baby's immune system. And when that cord is cut prematurely, the baby doesn't get all that. So that's one of the reasons why we want to keep the cord attached and do the lotus birth. But 12 hours still, by that stage, there didn't seem to be much left or anything left in there. It had all kind of gone through in those 12 hours, so it seemed like, okay, it's okay to do that right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, cut the cord, and because it was cut then, it was no issue with it. It was like it didn't get infected or anything like that.
Yeah. And then how long after that did we?
It was pretty much almost 2 days. It was 2 days really.
So 2 days later, the placenta still hadn't come out, and so I decided he actually did start feeding, and when he was feeding, I was bleeding a lot. And I remembered Matthew's brother had sent me an article about this home birther in Australia who had given birth okay, but she had hemorrhaged to death. And I thought, I'm not going to die now I've had a beautiful baby just because I've got these ideas about the way I wanted my birth to be. So I decided to go into hospital and get the placenta taken out. So we went into hospital. This was still good. We went into hospital, and the lady on duty, it was at night time, wasn't it, in the evening? She said, "Oh, well, what we're going to do is we're going to put you under anaesthetic, and we'll try and take it out manually. If we can't take it out manually, we'll have to cut you open and give you a C-section and take it out that way." And I looked at her and I said, "Please don't put me on anaesthetic."
Like general anaesthetic is what they wanted to do.
Yeah, sorry, general anaesthetic. "Please don't put me under general anaesthetic. Whatever you do, I've got a really high pain threshold. Just do it. I'll be fine." And she looked at me and said, "Oh, we always put people under general anaesthetic, or unless they've had an epidural, in which case they're to try and get the placenta to come down naturally, but it still didn't." And then in the morning, the staff changed over. They came in. They said, "Oh, we've talked about you, and I hear you've got a really high pain threshold." And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Okay." She said, "Well, look, we're going to try it. We're going to try and take your placenta out without giving you any drugs."
This was a really beautiful Sudanese doctor.
Oh yeah, she was beautiful.
She was so nice, just like an angel, like amazing. We couldn't have asked for a better doctor in the world. It was incredible.
It was so nice because when she walked into the room, I just felt she was this beautiful presence, and I kind of just knew it was almost like, okay, I'm going to be okay now. So she said, "Okay, you don't need to take any drugs," but she said, "We've got gas and air." So I took the gas and air, and I had the mask on my face, and I could just remember breathing in and breathing. I thought, wow, I know now why people like the gas and air. It was really good. But
so I held indigo while all this was happening.
Oh yeah, Matthew held indigo the whole time.
It was very intense, really intense.
It was quite intense, and I just breathed in and out of the machine, of the gas and air thing. And she was able to take out the placenta, and I
with her hand.
And I think there's no way it would have come out naturally, because it was actually stuck to my side of my
to the womb.
Stuck
to the womb.
So that's really the story of the birth, and then obviously I had to rest for a few days. But basically the Sudanese doctor came to see us, and she said she'd never seen that before in her life, that somebody had the placenta taken out without any.
After 2 days, she said she'd never come across a placenta that had been actually in for 2 days, but been taken out, and they thought that
they thought I was lying about how when he was born.
They were amazed by the cord, that it was all dried up. They said, "Are you sure this baby was only born 2 days ago?" Because the cord was so dried up because we hadn't cut it for 12 hours. They'd never seen that before. So
and usually sometimes the cord gets all kind of, you have to be really careful with it and put disinfectant on it, and you know. But it was almost it dried up really well, didn't it?
They were amazed. At, like some of them said, like, part of us are just so angry at you for not getting proper medical assistance, and the other parts just like, wow, well done. You just given birth to a super healthy baby. They gave him like APGAR score of 9 out of 10, and just said it's a super healthy baby. The cord is just perfect. You're just unlucky with the placenta. That's all they could say. You're just unlucky with that. So they were really impressed, and we were the talk of the maternity ward.
So our next contestant is from the Waikato Management School, Phoebe Gore.
At first, I want to acknowledge the ongoing support from my supervisors, Associate Professor Debshis Mushin, Dr. Cheryl Copeland-Wooten, and Dr. Mary Simpson. I'm so lucky they are all here today to support me. I'd also like to thank my office mate Azila Benchit for her valuable advice based on her last year's competition experience. And of course, I want to finally say thank you to my family, especially my kids, for their understanding, listening to my presentation every day, and pretending and not getting so bored. Let me tell you the story of a woman who was in tears after giving birth to a 9-pound child. It was not just the physical pain that made her cry. She was emotionally drained too. Sounds familiar? Well, she's among millions of women who go through this ordeal. But why? The woman in my story is one of my many research participants. For each one of them, it was culture shock that made going through childbirth a nightmare. They had all grown up in China, but were having their babies in New Zealand. But the customs and the procedures of their adopted land were all so different that they may, well, have been on another planet. In China, you put on a radiation protection suit when you are pregnant. You are not allowed to watch horror movies. Final Destination 5? No way. You stay indoors for the first whole month after you give birth. And more importantly, doctors take all the decisions for you. So, if your contractions start, rush to hospital. Over 30 years old, go for a cesarean. Imagine the anxiety of one of my respondents who was asked by her midwife here to make choices. Do you want a water birth? Do you want gas for pain? Do you want your husband to cut the cord? And then, when she started her contractions, she was told she was fine, and there was no need to call 111. Her body shook, not so much from the labor, but was because of her stress. There was a huge gap in their communication and conceptions of childbirth. Clearly, culture and communication are crucial components of childbirth, and that is the focus of my study. As a migrant ethnic Chinese mother myself, I weave my experiences with the others to understand how Chinese mothers go through childbirth. I speak to the maternity care providers here and observe how they deliver services to this group of women. I hope to challenge New Zealand medical practices that dehumanize the consumer to just another number. I hope to change the health industry to create a more inclusive environment. But this is not about Chinese women alone. There are mothers from 44 countries living in New Zealand now. These issues confront us all in a growing multicultural society. Is there only one way of going through childbirth? My research proves that is not the case. Can the gap in communication between two cultures be minimized? My research shows it can be achieved. Rethink childbirth that we are familiar with. It is, after all, a matter of conception. Thank you.
During a vaginal childbirth, the first stage of labor lasts about 12 to 19 hours and starts when your baby settles lower into your pelvis. In response, your cervix begins to efface or become thinner and dilate or widen. During this time, you may feel strong, regular contractions occurring every 5 to 20 minutes and lower back pain and cramping that doesn't go away. You may see a brownish or reddish mucus discharge, which could be the mucus plug at the opening of your cervix, falling out. Your water may break, which can either be a large gush of fluid or a continuous trickle. If you experience any of these symptoms, contact your doctor or midwife to see if you should go to the hospital. At the beginning of stage 2 of labor, which usually lasts from 20 minutes to 2 hours, your cervix is fully dilated to 10 centimeters. And your baby's head has moved beyond the cervical opening into your birth canal. Your doctor or midwife will instruct you to push during your contractions and rest between them. In a normal delivery, your baby's head will rotate to face your back. During active labor, your uterus is divided into an active segment that contracts, pushing the baby downward, and a flexible passive segment that remains relaxed, stretching to provide more room for the baby to pass through. When the top of your baby's head appears, or crowns, your doctor may make a small cut, called an episiotomy, to enlarge the vaginal opening. Then, your doctor or midwife will give you instructions on how to push your baby out. As your baby's head passes through the birth canal, it molds into an elongated shape. An elongated head shape will resolve itself within a few days as the skull bones shift back into place. After your baby's head exits the birth canal, his or her head and shoulders will rotate to help the shoulders pass through the birth canal. Your baby's shoulders are delivered one after the other in order to fit through your pelvis. Once the shoulders emerge, the rest of your baby slides out easily. After your baby is born, his or her umbilical cord will be cut. In stage 3 of labor, which may last 5 to 30 minutes, mild contractions will help push the placenta out of the uterus. During this stage, you and your baby may begin bonding through skin-to-skin contact and breastfeeding.
Each time your uterus contracts, breathe slowly, deeply, easily. Deep, slow abdominal breathing not only helps to relax you, it also helps to get the baby into line for an easy delivery. If your abdomen is held down, the baby's head pushes against the side of the uterus. He must make a detour to get out the opening. By breathing with your abdomen, you make it possible for the uterus to push forward at the top, to stand up so the baby can be pushed directly down through the birth canal. So far as you can, try to relax with each contraction. Try not to squeeze. This will help the sphincter muscles relax and allow the uterus to open. When the mouth of the uterus has opened completely, the second stage of labor begins, and soon you will be taken to the delivery room. The delivery room is much like the doctor's examination room. Its main piece of furniture is the delivery table, where your baby will be born. There is a table with sterile drapes to cover your abdomen, legs, and buttocks, and with sterile gowns, towels, and rubber gloves for the doctors and nurses. Everything is absolutely sterile to protect you and the baby. There will be sterile solutions to wash you with just before the baby arrives. And there will be a cord tie set to tie off the umbilical cord through which the baby has been getting its food in the uterus. There will also be various sorts of anesthetics. For example, a continuous caudal anesthetic set. a saddle block anesthetic set. And there will be gas available. Some mothers, perhaps you, may want a certain kind of anesthetic. Feel free to ask for it, but by all means leave the decision in your doctor's hands. Finally, there will be a bassinet ready to receive your baby. And so you reach the delivery room, ready to deliver your baby. Contractions are coming along about every 3 minutes, but try not to be overly impatient. Try to keep your mind free of worry and hurry. You can rely on your doctor and his helpers, you know. They've brought a lot of babies into the world. So you will know what to expect. Your doctor will tell you what he is going to do, and more important, what he wants you to do to help your baby along. Now, what is happening inside your body? Well, the baby's head is moving through the mouth of the uterus. With each contraction, he will move down the birth canal a little farther. And at the same time, he will rotate to face your back, rather than facing your side as he did before. In the second stage of labor, you will be told to take several deep breaths while the uterus gradually increases in the strength of its contractions. At the peak of the contractions, you will take another breath and hold it. In other words, you will push at the peak of contraction. With each push, some describe it as leaning on it, the baby moves along a little farther. Take your time. There's no reason to hurry. This is hard work, of course, and you need to rest between each contraction. You won't be alone in your work. Your doctor will be working too. He will be keeping you informed of progress and will be ready to receive the baby as he comes out through the vaginal opening. Remember, in the second stage of labor, you push with each contraction. In the middle of things, with everything moving along well, you may suddenly wonder how the baby can possibly get through that small opening. Don't worry, you'll stretch enough. For 9 months, your body has been preparing. Your doctor will be there, ready to hold the baby's head and to manipulate him gently so his shoulders, arms, body, and legs slide out easily. So, in a very little while, you have become 2. And he will be a fine, healthy baby, announcing his arrival with a good, loud cry. The doctor will tie the umbilical cord and cut it. Since the cord has no nerves, neither you nor the baby will feel it. And now you can hold your baby. What a wonderful thing to give life to a new human being. And while you're getting acquainted with your baby, the third stage of labor begins. The placenta that has been feeding him begins to come loose. And another contraction or two discards it from your body in from 5 to 20 minutes. It is called the afterbirth. Your baby is born. The job is done. And when your doctor says, "Congratulations, you did a fine job," he really means it. Back in your room, you begin to realize how much you are going to enjoy your baby. He's all yours, every inch, every ounce of him. For you and your husband and the baby, it is the beginning of a new era, an era brim full of surprises and happiness. Doctor, dancer, lawyer, president. What will he be? Have you chosen a name for him? Don't forget to telephone the relatives. Are the announcements ready? Don't forget to get cigars and candy for the office. Ah, well, Father will take care of that. Now for a well-earned rest.
Hola amigos y amigas, ¿cómo están? Espero que muy bien. Pues hoy estoy de regreso con ustedes. Ahora esta es la segunda parte de la pequeña serie de cómo involucrar al papá en el proceso del parto, del embarazo, después del nacimiento, que son puntos bien importantes para aquellos papis que a veces no entienden y no están preparados y pasan por cosas que jamás esperaban que pudieran pasar. Y en esta ocasión, pues en este video es el video de cómo involucrar al papá o el rol del padre durante el parto para que se sienta parte de ese proceso, ya que en ocasiones el hombre no sabe qué hacer, nada más está allí, no sabe cómo reconfortar a su esposa, no sabe cómo involucrarse, siente que no es de ayuda durante el parto, cuando el hombre es de principal y es de vital importancia en el parto, no solamente porque crea lazos con su esposa, sino porque crea lazos con esa criatura que va a venir al mundo. Entonces hice mi lista de los puntos que quiero ver con ustedes. Este sí va a estar un poquito más largo que el de cómo involucrarte en el embarazo, porque esos son puntos bien importantes que tienes que tomar en cuenta cuando esté tu esposa en labor de parto. Primero que nada, la pregunta es ¿cómo ayudar en un proceso así? Algo bien importante que tienen que hacer con tu esposa es ya sea tomar clases de parto, que algunas son llamadas LAMAS, si no me equivoco, y las dan en algunos hospitales. En algunos son gratuitamente, en algunas cobran alguna tarifa, pero son realmente importantes. Son aproximadamente 3 clases o 4 antes del nacimiento del bebé. Esto te va a ayudar, te va a dar la pauta, te va a enseñar qué puedes esperar, qué no puedes esperar durante el parto, cómo ayudar y reconfortar a tu esposa, cómo estar allí de apoyo para ella cuando ella te necesita, y te ayudará a apoyarla en ese momento relajadamente, lo cual es invaluable. Es importante que a la hora del parto no te estés estresado, ni estés ofuscado, ni estés así como asustado. Relájense, es un proceso, puede tomarse de 1 hora. En algunas mujeres pueden dar a luz rapidísimo, que son buenísimas para dar a luz, que nacen para dar a luz, yo diría, desde hasta 18, 24 horas. Yo recuerdo mi labor de parto fue de 24 horas y la verdad que estuvo bien pesada, pero yo le agradezco mucho a mi esposo el hecho de que estuvo allí conmigo, porque sí lo hubiese podido hacer, porque las mujeres tenemos pues eso que Dios nos dio, que es el don de dar a luz, pero el apoyo de él para mí fue invaluable. Así que es bien importante que tomen esas clases para que te ayude a apoyar a tu esposa de manera relajada durante el parto. La otra es que tu participación durante el parto sea activa, que tú estés activamente participando en el parto. ¿Y qué es lo que puedes hacer para lograr que tu participación en el parto sea activa? Uno de los puntos es reconocer el momento cuando la verdadera labor de parto comienza. Es bien importante que reconozcas cuando comienza la verdadera labor de parto y no que salgan corriendo a la primera contracción que tenga tu esposa, porque como les digo, este proceso se puede tomar bastante tiempo, y más aún en las madres primerizas, ya que el cuerpo aún no está muy acostumbrado a esto. Así que la segunda vez ya es un poquito más fácil y más rápido. Por la primera vez, aparte de que no sabes qué esperar, puede tomarse más tiempo. Una de las, ¿cuáles son las? En este momento te voy a decir algunas de las señales del parto inminente, de que va a pasar en cualquier momento. Son estas. Que una de las señales más importantes cuando va a pasar el parto, cuando viene ya a dar a luz, es que se rompe la fuente. Si la fuente se rompe, si tu esposa tiene o no tiene contracciones, tienen que irse al hospital. Es bien importante que se vayan al hospital en cuanto la fuente se rompa, o que llamen a la partera, o si lo van a hacer un parto en casa o en un centro, donde hay centros de parto donde van mujeres a tener sus bebés, especialmente que no es hospital. Lo que vayan a hacer es importante que se lo comuniquen a su doctor, a su partera o a quienes le vayan a ayudar en ese momento, porque la labor de parto va a comenzar. Lo más probable es que nazca entre de esas 12 horas después de que se rompió la fuente. Otra de las cosas son dolores de espalda persistentes, que ella se está quejando de mucho dolor de espalda. contracciones regulares y dolorosas, como por ejemplo regulares me refiero a que vienen cada 3 minutos, cada 4 minutos, cada 4 minutos, cada 4 minutos, y que duran aproximadamente 30 segundos, 40 segundos, y que son dolorosas de verdad. Eso es que está inminente el momento del parto. Y la eliminación del tapón mucoso, la cual es la eliminación del tapón mucoso se le llama a un tipo de moco que es como tipo un flujo, pero viene siendo más grande. Entonces ese flujo viene siendo, en algunas ocasiones trae mucha sangre, en algunas ocasiones es poco, algunas es mucho, pero es la tapita que cubre el cervix para evitar infecciones a la hora de cuando la mujer está embarazada. Se forma esa tapita en la entrada del cervix. Entonces esa tapita o el tapón mucoso que le llaman, ¡pum!, cae cuando el bebé va a nacer porque ya está a punto de nacer. Entonces esa eliminación de esa tapita o ese tapón mucoso, que viene siendo algo así como sangre y moco, bueno, se ve de una manera desagradable, pero significa que el bebé ya va a nacer. Entonces si tu esposa tiene cualquiera de esos puntos, es probable que dé a luz durante las próximas 24 horas. Otra de las cosas que puedes hacer para que tu participación sea activa durante el parto es aprende cómo contar contracciones. Es importante para reconocer el momento de cuando comienza la verdadera labor de parto. Tomas una hoja de papel y te dice tu esposa, bueno, tuve una contracción. Ella sabrá que una contracción es como se le pone el estómago duro. En ocasiones empieza desde la espalda y va hacia arriba, o en ocasiones empieza desde arriba y va hacia abajo. Entonces tú agarras tu papel, bueno, son las 10:20 de la noche, te dice, me dio una contracción, lo anotas. Después te dice a las 10:15, a 10:25, otra contracción, ya van 2 contracciones de 5 minutos aparte. Después, y así, cada contracción que ella te vaya diciendo que va teniendo, vela anotando, y te va a decir cuánto tiempo dura. Usualmente cuando te da una contracción, las mujeres se les pone la pancita dura y después en ocasiones la respiración la contienen un poquito y después...
Ay, por Dios. ¿Qué es eso? Por favor, qué gusto. No está demasiado caliente. A lo mejor sí, pero...
No, pero no le estás
No me quema, vamos, no me molesta. Por favor. Sí, pues yo tengo frío. Qué gusto.
Es que tú estás con escalofrío, Chucky.
Ya que si me apetece hacer pipí y todo lo hago, ¿no?
Que no puedes
Y
tener
a mi agua.
Que no puedes tener agua y abre otro.
¿Eh?
No puedes tener un esfínter y abre otro. Entonces tú abres todo, cierras todo. Es así. Cuando todo está abierto, yo creo que no quieres más.
Por favor.
Frío, ¿verdad? ¿Cómo lo encuentras? ¿Todavía muy caliente?
Qué gusto el agua, tía. Se me ha devuelto el ánimo.
¿Esto se enfoca solo?
Sí.
de que estés en el parto. Todas esas preguntas que son las que tienes que tener planeadas ya en tu mente. Una de las preguntas es, ¿quieres grabar el momento? ¿Quieres grabarlo? Tomar fotos. ¿Quieres cortar el cordón umbilical? ¿Quieres que tu esposa quiere dar pecho al recién nacido al momento de nacer? Esas 3 preguntas son importantes. Asegúrate de mencionárselas a tu doctor antes de que nazca el bebé. En cuanto lleguen al hospital, sabes que yo quiero grabar, quiero cortar el cordón umbilical y mi esposa le quiere dar pecho a mi bebé. No te lo lleves a ningún lado porque lo primero que quiere hacer antes de cualquier cosa es darle pecho. Háganlo antes de cualquier cosa. Son bien importantes esas cosas que tienen que recordarles. Bueno, después viene la tercera fase. Viene la tercera fase de la labor de parto. Y ustedes dicen, ¿por qué hay una tercera fase? ¿Por qué hay una tercera fase? Ya nació el bebé, ya pujó, ya estamos todos felices. No, espérate, aún no termina. Viene la tercera fase, que es la eliminación de la placenta. La placenta es un pedacito de carne así más o menos, que es lo que alimenta al bebé dentro del vientre materno. Entonces es otra fase en la cual la mujer tiene que volver a pujar, tiene que volver a hacer su esfuerzo. Entonces, ¿qué es lo que va a pasar aquí? Esta es la tercera fase, es la última fase, pero realmente importante. Es realmente importante que la mujer elimine toda esa placenta, todos esos residuos que quedan después de dar a luz, porque si no pueden ocurrir infecciones y pueden ocurrir cosas horribles si no pasa de esta manera. Entonces es bien importante que se aseguren de eso. Asegúrate de estar al lado de tu pareja cuando esté en el proceso de la liberación de la placenta, ya que ella puede ponerse temblorosa o sentirse fría. Recuerda que acaba de hacer un esfuerzo grandísimo al tener al bebé. Entonces puede sentirse fría, puede estar temblorosa. Si tuvo epidural, que se las ponen en la parte de atrás de la espalda para que no tengan tanto dolor, algunas mujeres se ponen así temblorosas todo el tiempo, así que es bien importante que estés al lado de ella. Asegúrate de darle una cobijita para taparla, para reconfortarla y sostener al bebé mientras ella está en este proceso que no dura mucho. La eliminación de placenta no dura mucho. En caso que el doctor vea que está ella durando demasiado, pues le puede ayudar en cierta manera a sacarla, pero casi siempre viene después del bebé. No tiene que pujar mucho. Y la eliminación de la placenta a comparación de la eliminación de a comparación de cuando nace el bebé no es dolorosa, nada más es una sensación de pujar y de querer sacar algo. Bien importante que tú aprendas a cómo hacer el apoyo de tu pareja, ser un coach para ella, ser su entrenador durante el parto para que la apoyes bien como ella lo necesita y sepas lo que a ella les gusta durante el parto. A algunas mujeres les gusta que les den masajes, a otras no. A algunas mujeres les gusta que les tallen los pies, yo no sé, a otras no. A algunas mujeres les gusta en ese momento, pero después al ratito ya no les gusta. Entonces trata de entenderla, trata de ver qué le gusta, qué no le gusta. Puede ser que trataste de darle un masaje y te dijo no. Después a los 10 minutos dame un masajito. Es que están en un proceso de labor de parto, es bien importante eso. Trata en ese momento de apoyarla lo más que puedas. Prepárate antes del parto. Miren videos juntos de partos normales o cesáreas para saber qué pueden esperar. Vean, aprendan lo que pueden esperar, no se asusten. Este punto es bien importante. No te asustes si tu bebé sale así medio extraño, medio raro. Va a salir un bebé que es lo que menos te espera. Va a salir un bebé quizás con la pielecita llena de un como... Le dicen lanugo, le dicen en español, pero es como un tipo cremita, así que está encima de todo el bebé, blanco, blanco, blanco. Algunos bebés nacen morados de la cara, algunos bebés nacen con una cabeza en forma de cono, así, en forma de cono. Es normal, tu bebé va a ser muy normal, nada más que es bien importante que no te esperes a que el bebé de tipo Gerber o el bebé tipo, no sé, que ves en la televisión. No te lo esperes así porque va a ser completamente extraño y quizás hasta ni parezca un bebé, pero eventualmente parecerá un bebé. Otra cosa bien importante, si quieres, que es lo que te va a crear un lazo especial con tu bebé y te va a hacer creer que tuviste una participación activa durante el parto de tu esposa, es cortar el cordón umbilical si quieres. Hay muchos padres que lo hacen y están en su derecho, pero en algunas ocasiones se les olvida por el nervio, el estrés, todo, se les olvida que quieren cortar el cordón umbilical de su bebé. Así que asegúrate de decírselo a tu doctor antes de tiempo, porque los doctores ya lo han visto todo. Ya para un doctor ir allí y sacar un bebé, ayudar a una mujer a dar a luz es muy normal, y él se va a acordar que tú le dijiste que quieres cortar el cordón umbilical. Así que esto es todo con respecto a cómo puedes estar más involucrado y más activo durante la labor de parto de tu esposa. Espero que esos puntos te ayuden, y cualquier duda, comentario, sugerencia para aquellas muchachas que ven estos videos, díganles a sus esposos que los miren. Dejen un comentario aquí en la parte de abajo si se me olvidó algo importante. Ya saben que me encantan sus comentarios. Que Dios me les bendiga. Nos vemos muy pronto, y paso a la parte 3 de cómo involucrarte a la hora de que nace tu bebé, o sea, a la hora después del parto, de tu casa, cuando ya están en casa y ya tienen a su bebé. ¿Cómo puedes involucrarte? ¿En qué le puedes ayudar a tu esposa? Que Dios me les bendiga y que estén muy bien. Bye.